It's a movie.
Kush's movie review.
This week's Kush's movie review is Ghostbusters, a documentary about porn stars that have unfortunately passed on to the other side, but have luckily been able to continue their living by busting for a fee. That's a very wasn't great, but yeah, it'll work. Ghostbusters, get it?
Only paranormal fans would be going through this through the roof right now. Realize.
All that, just spewing their ectoplasm over someone's tits.
Yeah, it's a little necessary. Little unnecessary.
By the way, thanks for tuning into the YouTube version. I'm sure you clicked off by now. Anyway, Kush, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, starring Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Paul Rudd, and God damn it, Ernie Hudson.
Mm-hmm. I mean, those guys are there.
What the? Can we? I apologize to hijack your segment here, but can we just really quickly speak about Ernie Hudson real quick?
Let's talk about Ernie Hudson.
What kind of witchcraft is he on? Like Harry,
no, he's on that black don't crack witchcraft.
Jesus, because I saw some. I mean, I knew he wasn't young, but when I saw he was like 78 or something
like that, yeah,
he looks like not even
great.
Joking. He looks amazing.
It was great for 50, right?
Like, geez, like Bill Murray. As much as I love him, he looks terrible.
I would say Bill Murray actually looks like a normal 78-year-old.
I guess, man. Yeah. It's fair enough. But
Dan Aykroyd surprisingly looks well. Annie Potts is fine.
She looks good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
whatever.
Sorry. Anyway, talk about the movie.
Oh, sorry. You sure you want to talk about a movie? Like, I can tell you about the time I met Ernie Hudson. It was at a
You met Ernie Hudson?
I've met Ernie Hudson at a comic convention in 2006, 2007, right around that time.
I bet he looked at 18 at the time.
I mean, he looked good. He was also wearing the Ghostbusters jumper, and like we were walking down Autograph Alley or whatever that's called, and it's like, okay, the kid who played young Boba Fett. Okay, there's the kid who played young Anakin Skywalker. Ernie Hudson, what the hell are you doing here? $20 for a Polaroid. I can't give you $20 quick enough here, man. Holy shit. By the way, his Polaroid was on the fritz, so like the photo I got is like the photo came out as if it was 20 years old when it had just been taken. And I know you're supposed to like blow him off and let him cool off for a second, but like no, the photo came out aged. I don't know what happened or whatever, but I didn't say anything. I was just happy to talk to Ernie Hudson for 5 minutes. No one else was there, so he was just like, "Oh yeah, man, I had a good time doing this and that." And anyway, that's I still have that Polaroid somewhere in a shoebox here somewhere, or probably that photo album over there. But anyway,
you should have secretly recorded that conversation and released
not an option
as an
at the
interview.
Time. Not an option at the time. Our phones weren't really that sophisticated.
Ernie Hudson, if you want to come on, we don't normally do interviews, but I'd make an exception if Ernie Hudson wants to come on for an episode of Waffle Box. Fuck yeah.
I would gladly have Ernie Hudson on this show. I'm pretty sure he's just gonna be like, nah. Maybe later.
You got $20.
I mean, Ernie Hudson's working now. He's on a bunch of TV shows that you and I are not watching. So, but anyway, let's talk about this review. Ghostbusters Afterlife. No. Psych. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. It's PG-13. It is 1 hour and 55 minutes.
Ooh, Justin.
Written and directed by a man named Gil Keenan. Gil actually had a hand with Jason Reitman's script on Ghostbusters Afterlife. And then Jason Reitman is also credited as a writer on this, but, well, I guess I just said it there. I did not credit any of the original Ghostbusters in this cast. They're there. They're Ray and Winston are the only two people that are there, like maybe over 10 minutes. Everyone else is just in, they're out. For whatever reason, they're wearing a jumpsuit now. They actually don't need to be there whatsoever. Not at all. But stars: Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon, Mackenzie Grace, Kumail Nanjiani, And then a young woman I've never heard of before, Emily. I'll Emily Allenberg. And the entire time
Sure.
I'm watching her performance, she's a ghost in this movie, a ghost that befriends McKenna Grace. There's a weird supernatural lesbian girl crush thing happening there. Anyways, the
Oh,
entire time I'm watching this girl, I'm just like, is that Jenna Ortega? Because she looks exactly with the makeup and the lighting and everything they've done to her through CGI. It looked 100% like Jenna Ortega. As you can tell, was not Jenna Ortega, but that was that was a big thing for me for a good chunk of the movie. Um, I don't hate this movie. Not my favorite movie whatsoever. There's ha-has in it. It's fun. It's at least the second movie out of five that has a different bad guy in it. The other one would be Ghostbusters 2 and Vigo the Carpathian.
great
Um,
villain.
I forget what the villain's name in this is, but he's some evil, super duper, supernatural frost demon. I don't know. He's been imprisoned in an orb, and Kumail Nanjiani accidentally sets him free because he doesn't
Dance.
understand his heritage or some nonsense. I don't know. Um, Mike, did you ever get to watch the real Ghostbusters growing up? The cartoon?
Did I? Although
Yes,
I
that's the
I
question.
was big. Um, yes, I did, and but I was at that age where I thought the Ghostbusters movie was a movie adaptation of the real Ghostbusters, and
Oh,
it
funny.
blew my mind when I found out that wait, the cartoon was based off the movie. The movie
Mhm.
was first.
I
But
think
yes, I loved the Ghostbusters, real
you're like
Ghostbusters.
between 4 and 6 years younger than me, so I totally get when that first came out how you would make that connection. And also, they did an episode where, oh, hey, we're gonna make a movie about you guys, and we're gonna call it Ghostbusters. And then sure enough, they actually go to the movie, and sure enough, they're playing scenes from the movie itself. It was all under Columbia Pictures and TriStar, so
And they're
it's
like walking down the street, and then Slimer trips up Ray,
mhm,
I think if I remember correctly, and drags him along.
something like that, something like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Fun fact:
Anyways,
because of the real Ghostbusters, when back in the day when I was in a band, and when I say I
mhm.
was in a band, I would
Ooh,
be
you're in a band.
me and my friends like just jammed together.
Okay, that's still a band.
One of our things we called ourselves the Longigons,
The Long Egons.
the
Okay.
Longigons, and our thing would be like we would take a photo, we would get a towel and roll it up, and then put it on top of our head. It'd
Uh,
be the Egon haircut from the real Ghostbusters.
yeah.
The
I
long Egon.
never understood the character design choices they made. They did everything they could to make them not look like the actors from the movie. It's actually amazing that Winston was black in the cartoon. Uh,
Well, another fun. What I'm thinking of this, shooting off the hip. I know you know this, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Please.
What is the fun fact connecting um, Peter Venkman from the movie to the real Ghostbusters?
Oh, so Lorenzo Music would be his for a minute would be his voice actor, and same guy who did Garfield, and then Bill Murray would also do Garfield. Well, geez, was that the late '90s or the early millennium?
Yeah. So yeah,
Anyways, Bill Murray was in the live action Garfield before Chris Pratt was, and yeah.
and then the guy who did the cartoon version of Garfield did also the cartoon version of
Mm-hmm.
Peter Venkman.
Just the
They
facts,
even make a
ma'am.
joke about that in the episode I just mentioned, where they're like, why do I sound like Garfield?"
Love it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Also, fun fact about the cartoon: Dave Coulier would end up picking up for Lorenzo Music, or maybe Lorenzo Music stole it from Dave Coulier. I don't know, but those two were Peter Venkman, and then Arsenio Hall was originally Winston,
Just the facts, ma'am.
and then something
Nice.
happened where he wasn't Winston anymore. I
He
forget who took
became
over.
too big for his britches because he was a talk show host.
This was years before the talk show. This was years before even like
And
Harlem Nights.
he
Yeah.
he got becomes friends with Eddie Murphy.
Well, he was probably always friends with Eddie Murphy. But anyways, uh, Frozen Empire. Anyways, I asked you about the cartoon because 25 minutes of this 1 hour and 55-minute movie is a really dope episode of the real Ghostbusters. Um, a minus Egon, of course, but still, whatever. And then the next 85 minutes of this movie is just kind of it's stuff. It's a lot of callbacks to the previous movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Um, Mackenzie Grace has to make a make a weird science pun, but because the theater's so goddamn loud, you don't hear it, but you recognize that that's a thing that happened. Wolfgang Van Stranger Things, whatever his name is, that guy has no business being in this movie.
Wolfgang
Nope.
McStranger Things. That's his new
Wolfgang
name.
McStranger. No offense to him, he has no business being in this movie.
There is
They've done
offense to him.
nothing to give him a real character.
Wolfgang McStranger Things has a real again. I'm sure he's a lovely person in real life, but he has one of those faces. I
Yeah,
don't like his
especially in
face.
this movie.
I don't like
Yeah.
the cut of his jib. Fix your
His whole
face.
gimmick throughout this whole movie is just he's hunting down Slimer, who has
As you
no
do.
business being in this movie again either. Again, Slimer is again, unless we're actually bleeding into the world of the real Ghostbusters, Slimer should just be in the containment unit. We'll get back to the containment unit. Um, what else? Oh, the Wolfgang von McStrange things. His love interest from the last movie is for some reason in this movie. This was a chick who was flipping burgers in a little small Midwest town, and now she's just doing an internship in Winston's super secret Ghostbusters lab. It doesn't.
What are the chances?
A lot of stuff in this that doesn't make any sense. The character podcast enjoyed him quite a bit. Again, same thing. Like I'm interning at Ray's weird, creepy bookstore, like for the summer, and my mom thinks I'm at space camp. Like I like seeing you here, dude, but again, like this doesn't make any sense here. Just and then Mackenzie Grace, who carried the last movie, has nothing to do here. Again, they give her nothing. There's this weird paranormal lesbian girl crush thing happening. It goes nowhere. It doesn't even get to the first syllable. We don't even get geek. All right, like the character's 15, by the way. Come on.
Oh, sorry. Oh wait,
That's why I keep saying girl crush.
For some reason I thought you were talking about the woman who was Paul Rudd, kind of like in and off and on again in the last one. I thought you were talking about her.
No. So that's the mom. Also has no business being here. I don't know why half the characters are here. If it's nice to see Ray actually has something to do, and they try to give him something to do with girl McKenna. But it's again, there's a very cool 25-minute episode of the real Ghostbusters in this, and then 80 minutes of just what is happening here. Movie starts off with an opening chase where they're racing through downtown New York traffic. You'll probably appreciate this, but then that stupid gunner seat comes out, which is fine when you're driving down a non-occupied Midwest road, but when you're going against New York City traffic,
yeah, you're not getting up to 6 miles per hour in real life if that was the case.
No, it's amazing that they're actually speeding through any traffic.
Yeah,
it's there's a lot wrong with this. It's not the worst movie though. I would say it's the out of now 5 movies in the Ghostbusters franchise, I would say it's the third best, which isn't helping its chances. Meaning part 4 or the fourth best movie is Answer the Call. That's Girl Ghostbusters. And then the worst movie is still Ghostbusters 2. So
whoa,
that's not no. Ghostbusters 2 is a terrible fucking movie.
Emotional damage.
What?
Great soundtrack. I'll rock the Ghostbusters 2
movie
soundtrack right now, dude. Let's break some fucking RICCA laws, dude. Let's break some trademark laws. Let's copyright laws. Let's play some Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack.
We're gonna have to take it all.
We got. we got.
Bobby Brown before he got weird. That was a great,
He was
great
probably already
song.
weird. We just didn't
Maybe.
know it yet. Yeah,
Hey,
that whole
can I get the
soundtrack
one
is
else for
great.
my kid, brother? These are toys.
That's
Step
kind of how
aside,
that
Bobby
line went.
Brown.
That's kind of how that line went. So
It's a great movie. Somebody get me the Ghostbusters.
there are laughs in that too. But yeah, that's
Dickless here. Is this true? Yes, it's
that's
true.
part one.
This man has no dick. Is that
That's
was it
part
one?
one. That's number one. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That number two, Dickless, was the guy that put
Yeah.
me in the mental
Again,
institution.
speaking of Dickless, Dickless is the mayor in this movie,
Good. He should be
and
in it. He was a great Ghostbusters character.
fine, yeah. And it's been 40 years, so sure, he's risen up the ranks to be the mayor, but for nothing. It's there's a lot of nothing that happens in this movie, man. It's. I heard the budget for this was $100 million, so I'm honestly surprised it was for what a blockbuster is these days. I'm surprised it was that cheap. Um, They went full CGI on this though, whereas the last
You
one,
never
they're
go
like
full CGI.
the last Afterlife with Jason Reitman, we tried to recreate as many of the practical effects from my dad's movie that we could. And that's why that is the second best Ghostbusters movie right now. Also, it had a lot of heart in it. I couldn't give a shit about half of the stuff in here. Like I said, like why is this here? Why is that there? Oh, the little Stay Puft Marshmallow Men, cute in the first movie for
They were
3 minutes, and then
adorable.
that dragged on, and then they're all over
Oh,
this
they're back
movie.
again? Oh,
All over
that's
this movie.
merchandise, baby. You get those merchandise dollars.
Fuck off. Yeah, nah. It's a and again, I didn't hate this movie. Not the worst movie of the year, not the worst movie in the Ghostbusters franchise. Everyone listening to this, if you haven't seen it already, you can absolutely wait for this to come on streaming in the next 6 weeks from when we release this. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5, so it's not a terrible rating. I I would like to give this a better review. I thought I would be end up giving this a worse review. I understand it's got a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and again, that's
Fuck.
not one website doing that. That's
Yes.
an accumulation
You're
of
sheep. Don't worry
a
about other
hundred
people's
different things.
opinion. See it yourself, pick your own opinion. You might agree, but
I
just
think it's all justified. I think the negative comments on this movie are justified, but it's fine.
no,
It's only
it's
okay.
I haven't seen this movie yet, but
I bet you don't hate it. I bet
I
you have
bet
a
I
good
don't
time.
hate
Like
it.
Kush,
I bet
I
I'm
had such a good
but
time. We laughed so much.
it's the people. I feel that the people who rate things on IMDb or whatever Rotten Tomatoes,
Mm-hmm.
tomato, use a tomato, are like they're dicks, right? Because like they're trying to be like the next Robert and Engelbert. What's his name? The two famous movie critics. I don't know.
Or Ebert,
Ebert
Siskel and
and
Ebert.
yeah, there's. Where's that? Look, you're watching Ghostbusters 5 or 4, depending on whatever. Like, what was you expecting at this point? It's like,
A good Ghostbusters movie.
but that got Bill and Ted 3 or 4, whatever.
Wasn't
Fuck
good.
them. It wasn't good, but it was like, what
I
was
knew
you
it wasn't.
expecting?
I was actually not expecting it to be good, so I was not disappointed.
Exactly. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But also again, don't because hey, maybe I'm just thinking the vast
So
majority of people who are probably going to go see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire probably this isn't going to be their first Ghostbusters movie.
no,
So it's like,
there's a couple kids in my audience,
well, I'm sure there will be some, but yeah, the
I hear what you're
majority of
saying.
people are going this because they've seen at least Afterlife.
So, dude, I saw the Thursday screening. I texted you about it, and for me, it was 3 in the afternoon on Thursday, so I was not surprised that my theater wasn't full. Um, Saw the movie, went home, took a nap, came back to that same theater to catch another movie that, for whatever reason, was only playing once and after 9:30. Anyways, while waiting for that movie to start, I saw two dudes. One dude was dressed in like some Ghostbusters paraphernalia, and I was like,
Nice.
that's actually a pretty cool jacket, but I couldn't wear that more than this specific screening that I've already seen. So it would just take up space and I wouldn't buy it. However, there was another guy who I know we played the age game a while ago, but this dude was at least like 23, and he had some real Ghostbuster replica action figures. Then he was I'm not gonna say he was playing with them, but he was definitely posing them and then taking pictures with his popcorn. And I was just like, oh, this gentleman is definitely unstable. I'm afraid to
Yeah,
be this close to him.
because
I'm trying not
that
to draw attention, but he's being very obvious.
I'm not going to judge anyone because I'm not going to move the cat, but I have action figures up there of
Yeah,
certain professional. But I'm not taking my action figures to the wrestling. That'd be weird.
I mean, unless you want to get
Yeah,
someone so to sign that action figure, that would be cool.
well, two
But yeah,
thirds of them are
you're totally
dead,
not doing
so that's
Kofi
not going to
Kingston
happen.
and Triple H like oh pedigree.
I don't think British Bulldog and Andre the Giant are going to be available for autographs anytime soon. But
Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. So I
um,
mean, this movie has fans. It actually, again, it was the number one movie of the weekend. It did just a little bit better than Ghostbusters Afterlife's open, like just a sliver better. But of course, ticket prices have gone up since then. Um,
inflation.
Families are going to see this, and then Ghostbuster fans. And when I say fans, I'm talking about like people dressing up in the jumpsuit with the proton pack and a puppet Slimer or the a puppet little marshmallow man, and taking group photos. Like those folks are seeing this. Um, I suppose they're better than the folks who dress up for Star Wars in stormtrooper gear. You guys are embarrassing. However, it's a little much. It's a little much. I don't know. I have to base your personality on being a fan of a thing. I love Ghostbusters. I love that first Ghostbusters. I have owned it now on many formats. Um, Even to the point where my original VHS tape broke because I watched it that much when I was a kid. Ghostbusters 2, despite my bad review of it, is the first movie I saw multiple times in the theater because I wanted to see the new Ghostbusters in 1989.
Well, it is this movie. You could the Ghostbusters movies are so good. You can say that that's the worst movie of the bunch, but it's still a good movie. Like I say, it's still a goddamn good movie. But here's
I'm glad you like it.
I was trying to olive branch here, but you snapped it. Um, but
Sorry.
I'm not going to begrudge anyone for making a movie and making money and yada yada yada. I'm happy for everyone, but just for the fanboy in me, just for the emotional connection, I thought Ghostbusters Afterlife, just because of the way they had the ghost of Egon and stuff like that. I thought that would have been a great way of like, and that's the Ghostbusters.
Which is why I was not excited about this movie. I was like, you guys stuck the landing. Like I was
Yeah,
dreading Ghostbusters Afterlife, and walking out of it. One, I was an emotional mess after the Egon scene, and two, I was like, this is now my favorite movie of the year. I didn't say it was the best movie of the year, but it became my favorite movie of the
right.
year when I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be the worst fucking time of my life. Um, so this doesn't do any of that though. There's no emotional connection. You really don't give a shit. There's gonna be another one because of this weekend's results. There's gonna be another one. Again,
It's
it
be a new
wasn't an
franchise.
expensive
Shit.
movie. It is still a franchise.
Paul
Um,
Rudd's Ghostbusters now. Let's go Paul Rudd's Ghostbusters universe, and we're living in it.
Paul Rudd can come back. Mackenzie Grace can come back. Um, Ray can come back. Winston can come back. Everyone else needs to sit on the bench. Kumail Nanjiani is funny, but he's wasted in it also. Patton Oswalt, kind of surprised he wasn't a Ghostbuster, but then I thought we were going to finish this review, but we're still going. So anyway, they're very early in the movie. Like I said, there's a high speed chase. We're chasing after a ghost or whatever. The thing with the gunner seat, whatever. That ends, and then they get cussed out by Mayor Dickless, and it turns out like, oh yeah, the new Ghostbusters actually have a 15-year-old girl working for them. Oh, and for free. By the way, she's got a remember everyone's favorite scientific line. She's got an unlicensed nuclear proton accelerator on her back. All right, the kid's got a weapon of mass destruction, and by the way, destroyed multiple buildings. Like, yeah, They should have clipped her wings. However, she's sulking the entire movie, which again, that's what 15-year-old girls do. But then it's revealed that Winston has a super secret Ghostbusters lab. She could just intern there. She could learn about all the ghosts they've captured. The containment unit. The containment units overflowed. That was the end credit scene for the previous Ghostbusters movie. It's the one thing they actually carried over into this one. And guess what? Someone goes like, "Well, how long before you guys build a bigger one that we can transfer things to?" And they're like, "Oh, you don't know? We got a super secret Ghostbusters lab right over here." And like, so you know this has been a thing? You know this could potentially be a thing and you haven't done anything about it? Like, fucking hell. There's a lot of dumb shit happening in this movie. We go any further, I'm just gonna like reenacting the movie. So, anyways, 3 out of 5. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. It's a stupid title, also based on everything. Let's not get into it.
That's all, folks.
Play me off, Johnny.